Shabbat Shalom. Let's learn Torah with Rashi's commentary. Now, I particularly said let's learn Torah with Rashi's commentary because while we often use the term Parsha for the weekly reading, the correct term, technically, is really Sidra, relating to our word Seder, order, that order in which we read the Torah. The Sidra is that weekly selection. A Parsha is a paragraph in the Torah. And there are really two types of those. One is a closed paragraph called a stuma. And that's separated from the previous paragraph by a 9-letter long space. Then there's an open parsha, a petucha, and that begins on a new line. So if you were looking at a Torah scroll, you could tell whether a parsha was a stuma or a petucha. A verse from the Sidra, this week's Torah portion, provides insight to the very significance of these kinds of paragraph breaks. In the first chapter of the book of Leviticus, verse 10, the verse reads, Ve'im minatzon korbano mina ksavim o min ha'izim le'ola zachar tamim yakrivenu. If his offering for a burnt offering is from the flock of sheep or of goats, he shall make his offering a male without blemish. Now, what insight could we gain by thinking about that verse from the Torah? Well, it's in how it's written that we glean a message, and that Rashi points out for us in his commentary. It's very insightful commentary. Rashi asks the question, why does this verse start a new parsha? Even though it's continuing with subject matter of the previous parsha. And it even begins with the Hebrew letter Vav, thereby connecting it grammatically to the previous parsha. So here's what Rashi says. Ve'im minatzon. Vav mosif al inyan rishon. The Hebrew letter Vav here seems to say that it's a continuation of the previous subject. Why then do I get a paragraph break in this verse, for this verse? That is, Rashi says, Litain revach leMoshe lehit bonen bein parasha leparasha. Why is there a paragraph break? That's in order to give Moses a pause. That gives Moses space. And what is that space for? Lehit bonen. That is, so he could contemplate the instructions and the message behind the detailed instructions, sacrifices, and rituals that God was passing along. And one passage to the next, Moshe is given such time by the master teacher on high. The very experience of learning, when a teacher or some source presents to us ideas in whatever form or way, with whatever words, requires that we digest that experience, that we contemplate the meanings, that we connect dots, that we bring disparate columns of knowledge together in order to generate meaning. Rashi was quick to point out that Moses needed to understand more about these rituals, about what the implications were for people. Would they be able to come with the kavanah, the intentionality, if he didn't expand on the potential of what the sacrifices offered the Jewish people as their ritual way to connect with the Lord? Rashi explains that paragraph break gave Moses the opportunity to engage in what we call reflective practice, both in terms of his being an educator to others and for others, and to make meaning of what instructions God was giving, perhaps to even wonder the whys in addition to the how. We have so many wonderful experiences in our lives. The question is, do we create space and breaks and time to be truly reflective? Remember what the great educator philosopher John Dewey said? We do not learn from experience. We learn from reflecting on experience. This Rashi knew and felt that the Torah, even in its very codific sections about the sacrifices, hinted at by way of using both stuma, closed paragraphs with the 9-letter long spaces, and the new paragraph after open space, following certain verses. So our purposeful reflection, our willingness to contemplate our experiences, the subject matter we learn, brings so much more in terms of the learning we do, the potential passing along that information, educating with it, and letting it enhance our lives and new experiences to come. A blessing for all of us that we should find ample time and space and the right settings to do the contemplating that we hope for, to do the reflection that we so much need after so many, please God, wonderful experiences in our lives. Shabbat Shalom.